All right, let's talk about one of the biggest challenges for any new Java developer. How do you go from knowing all the theory to, actually building something that works? So, does this sound familiar? You understand what loops are, you get what classes do, but when you open up a blank editor to start something new, nothing. Your mind just goes blank. That feeling, that's what we call tutorial hell. And today, we're going to get you out of it for good.
And this really gets to the heart of it. You can read 1,000 books, but you don't truly become a developer until you start writing code, breaking things, and fixing them. It is all about learning by doing.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to get into the right mindset. Then we'll find a place for you to practice. After that, we'll dive in and build 3 projects, each one a little more challenging than the last. And finally, we'll get you set up with a portfolio to show off everything you've accomplished. Okay, first things first. Before we even think about project code, we need to talk about habits. It's all about adopting the mindset of an effective developer. Think of it like building up the muscle memory you need to solve problems without even thinking about it. These 5 habits right here, this is your foundation. Writing code every single day keeps your skills from getting rusty. Learning to debug? Well, that's how you really start to think like a programmer. Building small projects gives you those quick wins that build up your confidence. Coding platforms are perfect for sharpening your logic. And putting your work on GitHub? That makes your skills visible to the whole world. This is literally how you close that gap between theory and practice. Now, where do you actually do all this practice? Well, think of it like going to the gym. You wouldn't just walk in and start lifting randomly, right? You need the right equipment. In the coding world, these platforms are your equipment. They're your digital gym where you can work on specific skills. As you can see, you've got a bunch of great options. If you're just starting out, HackerRank is fantastic for nailing down those core Java concepts. Gearing up for job interviews? LeetCode is pretty much the industry standard. If you want to make it fun, Code Wars turns learning into a game. And if you want structured feedback from a real person, you have to check out Exorcism. Just pick the one that fits what you're trying to do. All right, you've got the mindset, you've got your gym. Now it's time for the really exciting part. Let's build something. We're going to start with an absolute classic for a very good reason, the basic calculator. Now, don't underestimate this project just because it sounds simple. A calculator is like the hello world of building actual applications. It's a complete, self-contained system that makes you touch on all the fundamentals before you can move on to bigger, more complex stuff. By building this, you immediately put theory into action. You learn how to actually get input from a user, how to use logic to decide what to do with that input, how to organize your code into clean, reusable methods, and even how to handle common errors like trying to divide by 0. And this is a huge insight. This tiny little project follows a pattern that you will see everywhere. This loop of getting input, processing it, and then returning some output, that is the fundamental logic behind pretty much every back-end system you can think of. You're learning a core software engineering pattern from day one. And when you really break it down, the logic is incredibly simple, isn't it? It's just a clear sequence of steps. This just goes to show you that even a full application is just a series of small, manageable pieces. Okay, calculator's done. You've now mastered the basics of processing information, so it's time to level up. Now we're going to learn how to manage collections of data. And this is where your apps start to feel way more powerful. So our next project is a to-do list that runs in the console. Instead of just working with 2 numbers, now we're going to be creating, storing, viewing, and deleting a whole list of items. The focus here is all about data management. For this project, you'll get comfortable with Java's array list for storing your tasks. But more importantly, you're going to master something called CRUD operations. That's create, read, update, and delete. And I promise you, those 4 operations are the absolute foundation of almost any application you will ever build. And here's the really cool part. The simple logic you build for this little console app, it's the exact same fundamental logic that powers the Notes app, the contact list, or the task manager you use on your phone every single day. Okay, now we are ready for a huge leap forward, object-oriented programming, or OOP. And this isn't just a new technique, it's a whole new way of thinking about your code. It's about modeling things from the real world, which makes your programs way more intuitive and so much easier to grow and manage. And the perfect project to practice OOP is a simple banking application. See, instead of having a random variable for a balance, we're going to create a bank account object. It holds its own data, like the account name and balance, and it has its own functions, like deposit and withdraw. With this project, you'll master the absolute pillars of OOP. You'll define a bank account class, think of it like a blueprint. Then you'll create individual bank account objects from that blueprint. You'll also learn about encapsulation, which is just a fancy word for protecting your data, like making sure an account's balance can't be changed by accident. This is how you start to write code like a pro. So, you've built the projects, you've learned the concepts, but there's one final, absolutely critical step. You have to make your work public. It's time to turn these practice projects into a real, professional portfolio.
GitHub is so much more than a place to back up your code. It is your resume as a developer. It's tangible proof that you can do what you say you can do. When a hiring manager sees an active GitHub profile, they don't just see code. They see a developer who is capable, credible, and ready for a job.
And honestly, getting started is simple. Just create your account, make a new repository for your calculator, another for your to-do list, and one for the banking app. Upload your files, and this is super important, write a good, clear README file for each one that explains what the project is and how to run it. So let's just step back for a second and look at this journey. You went from basic app logic with the calculator to managing data systems with the to-do list, all the way to professional real-world modeling with the banking app. Each project built perfectly on the one before it, giving you this incredible set of skills. You have the complete roadmap now, from that very first line of code all the way to a professional portfolio. The time for tutorials is over. The only question left is, what are you going to build first?